This episode of the podcast is brought to you by yours truly. If you'd like to be a sponsor of this podcast and future episodes, go ahead and email us at itscoronatime@91btv.com. Hello, people of the world and podcast fam. My name is Kevin Jackson, and welcome to, I believe this is the 15th episode of It's Corona Time. It is my pleasure to be back here in the month of March, and I know we're more talking about February stuff, but it's all good. It don't matter what time of the year it is because Black history is every day. Today, I have a beautiful Black woman here to talk about this subject, and I have her introduce herself and why you should listen to her.
Hi, my name is Jaylen Davis. I am a fifth year at Cal Poly Pomona. This year, I'm also president of Shades of Queens at Cal Poly Pomona, which is a club that represents the advancement of Black women at Cal Poly, whether it be academic-wise, we support each other in that way, and just provide a positive mental space for Black women at Cal Poly Pomona.
Most definitely. Congratulations on that one as well. I didn't even know, man. I known you for a minute, and I didn't even know you were the president. And I was like, man.
I mean, Shades of Queens. I've been in Shades of Queens for like
a
long.
No, I realized. I was like, oh damn, she's been in for a minute, but I didn't.
I've been in Queens, but also like this was like the COVID year. COVID for clubs. Like I don't think most clubs know who their e-board is, honestly, because like having meetings online, like when people do their classes on Zoom and then the class is over, the laptop is closed and they go to sleep. No one's opening their laptop again on purpose to go to like a club meeting, so.
Yep, I mean, you're not wrong about that one, unfortunately. Ever since COVID.
I'm guilty of it too. I do the same thing. Like
I haven't went to my engineering club meetings. I'll be like, you know what? I'll just wait till we're back in person, because I still got one more semester to go. So I'm like, I'll just wait back. It's kind of hard doing things online with that. It can't be that social and projects for clubs online. That's impossible.
And what you said, like, it's just so social. Clubs are supposed to be fun and social, and especially Shades of Queens, like, there's no academic, like, premise. It's not like a major-based club. It's literally just to be social. Mm-hmm. And doing social things over Zoom is, like, hard because I feel like you're still in a Zoom meeting mindset when you, like, it's hard to... Yeah, like Shades of Queens meeting in person, people are cutting people off. You have to remind people like one mic, so people can like listen to each other. But Zoom, it's like people don't do that over Zoom. It's like one person talks and one person answers and everyone else is quiet. It's like it's hard to be social over Zoom. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that, man. Especially like not only that, but like due to COVID, I've lost track of a lot of people that I would see just like on my daily walks, like I would like see y'all up by building 5 up or even higher up by the labs, the science labs, and I'm just like, man, why was
everybody even running into people at like the brick or something?
Now half of them are graduated, even like probably like 40% are gonna graduate in spring now, and then just the 10% of like me still here, but it's all right. Eventually I'll be out of here. I'll be great. And just a little bit, I always like to talk about where I meet people, and when I met her it was back in freshman year when I was, the man that was in all the dorms trying to meet everybody, and I was in my favorite one, Alice Square Meadows, and I went to the 3rd floor, and I met her roommate at the time. I think it was like Erica, right? So and then I was just like, okay, like, and I met you. And then you were like, it was like, oh my gosh, you in Rancho? I'm in too. I was like, that's crazy that we're all like in the same region. And then you went to my church before too. I was like, oh my gosh, that's freaking crazy. It's a small. Sorry, my bad.
That's basically it's the same thing. Small world.
Small freaking world. So I remember specifically the one day because it just came up back on my Snap memories. But it was this one day that I think I brought your roommates out to the beach, and then I was like, why ain't you coming through? You coming through to the beach too? But I don't know. You probably I think you had something to do. Me? Or just like, yeah, you.
What? Mm-hmm. I love the beach. I don't know why. That's So I love
Mm.
the beach. My New Year's resolution is to go to the beach every once a month. And so far I went in January, went in February, and March 1st came and I was like, oh my God, it's another opportunity to go to the beach. I'm so excited. Like I love the beach.
Dang. Or maybe I didn't have room in my car. It was one of these things. Either I didn't have room in the car, you were busy or going back home or something or studying. It was one of these things. But I remember specifically going to the room because I was like, y'all ready yet? Y'all ready yet? Y'all ready yet to
Oh,
come?
wait, I actually remember. No, you're right. Oh, wow.
So
Wow. Honestly, also first year Jalen was not as adventurous as like I didn't trust nobody. I didn't want to go anywhere with anybody. I was just like, I'm just gonna stay. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
wasn't like
I,
even partying and stuff. I was just like, I'm gonna go with the certain group of people and then I'm leaving after
mhm.
so
Some amount of
yeah.
time. I feel that it's man like freshman. I was the opposite. Like I was the man that was out there going out meeting everybody. But then as time goes on and as you become older too, you realize that it's like I'm just coming to school to go to school. Maybe like go to a club or something, or and go home. I mean, the only
Hmm.
time you really see me was when I was in the library. Like that's when I was like at now. I was in the library studying for these classes because things were getting harder. But
Yeah.
as you grow older, you're just like, man, I'm done with this social aspect now. I'm just really just trying to. So I mean, that's more me now.
Yeah.
So even like when before COVID, like this time last year, I was just like in the library studying, cranking out things, and then boom, you had all these shenanigans happen. But
Yeah. That is so funny. I feel like I'm the opposite. I feel like I feel like I want to do fun, crazy things,
mm,
but I only want to do with like certain groups of people. And I
mm,
feel like I didn't have those groups of people my freshman year. And I feel like now I do have those groups of people,
mm.
so but now we're in a pandemic. So it's like, no, you know what I'm saying? So people that I am comfortable like going out with and letting loose with and having a good time,
Mhm.
I have those people now. So, but most of them I actually realized are kind of like you, to where they had a lot of fun earlier and now they want to chill out. And I'm like one of the few people that don't want to chill out anymore because I didn't chill out earlier. So, you know what? It will all work out. I just believe it'll all work out. It will be fine. It's okay,
Mm.
you know?
We're still in the middle of our 20s. I just turned 23 the other day, so I still got 7 more years
Hey,
in this. Oh, thank you.
when was it?
It was the 20th.
February?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Happy belated birthday. 23. That's
Yeah, that
crazy.
actually I went to the beach that day. So
Love
shoot.
that. Love that. We love that.
So yeah, most definitely. That's sick. That's sick. So yeah, let's just get to the bread and butter of our conversation today. And it's a little bit, talking about the Black experience and Black History Month. So Black History Month was coming up this month, and it's been a little bit interesting of it being in the middle of COVID, and the whole pandemic and stuff. It's a little bit more, I would say, simmered. I think the only thing that I'm really seeing is really on Twitter. On Twitter throughout the whole month, I was like, people are like making memes about like, oh, they're doing Black History Month, no, and posting about
Oh,
different
no.
posted about different like black creators and black people in general. That was great to see. But then yeah, that was just really it this year. But I was able to still make a few videos just talking about Black History Month and what it means to different people.
Mhm.
So I filmed this video last year. I went to Long Beach and I filmed some people that were there talking about asking them that question, and I was at Cal Poly and I filmed somebody that was there asking that question as well. So I still had the footage, never published it. I combined it together and had that out. So that was cool.
Hey, no, I'll definitely watch that actually. That actually sounds super interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty short too. It's not too long, so everybody can just come through. Probably on the side if y'all see it on YouTube or something. And then I also made a personal video just talking about Black history and how the Black history has been kept from us because we are not the winners of the world, right? The winners write history, and they leave us out, right? If I talk about so many things that I learned in the past year, well, in the past 2 years, really, about Juneteenth and, Black
Mhm.
Wall Street and Tulsa. And these are
Mhm.
things that I didn't necessarily know before, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's just crazy that we all have to do our individual research to find this out, because there's not written in textbooks, it wasn't taught, right? Because the winners are also the people that write the textbook, and it's like, what? There's no way you can just figure this out for yourself, man, and it's just sad. So I talked about a
It's
little bit.
weird.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Oh, it's weird. I was just amplifying what you just said. I
Mhm.
was like, it's very sad.
So I talked a little bit about that in my video, but even besides all of that, I'll ask you the same question after I answer for myself. But what Black History means to me is at least Black History Month, excuse me, because
Mhm.
even though we're telling that Black History Month is in February, right? Um,
Mhm.
and that I think it was actually decreed in 1976, I believe. And that was a whole 10 years before Martin Luther King Day became official. That's in 1986. But besides that point, Black History is just a month. It is happening every day, all the time, 24/7, 365, right? But it's just a time for us personally. What I thought is a time for us to honor and to celebrate Black achievement, and
Mhm.
and have pride in being Black. And
Mhm.
I talk about this a little bit later about my experience of it in college, and how being Black in college, and how that has really resonated with me, and how that has changed me in some certain aspects. Um,
Mhm.
I believe that it's just a great month to celebrate. It's also my birthday month, like I stated a little bit
Exactly.
earlier. So it's all good together, man. It's superb. It's great. So
It's
um
great.
it's yeah, I so that's just what it means to me. How about you?
Black History Month, Black History Month means to me just kind of the same thing. It just allows, it opens a space for Black people to dive into their Blackness, which in some spaces I don't think is always encouraged. And to be proud of, I feel like there's so many things um, that can make you feel insecure in your Blackness. A lot of things in the news or in the media that make you feel angry and frustrated. And there's a lot of things that are negatively associated with being Black, even like stereotypes about Black people. And I just feel like having Black History Month just allows you to be, it just, I don't know, it just makes me feel proud and happy. I feel like I didn't even, like, Black History Month meant something different to me this year, especially after reading the books through Instagram.
Mhm.
I just feel like there's so many women in that book that I had no idea existed. And hearing about them and what they accomplished during the time that they were alive, when I feel like they had probably more against them than we probably do now, was so like motivating and inspiring. Like, these are Black women that freaking crushed it, and I am proud of them. I want to honor them, and I want to, you know, kind of be up there with them,
Mhm.
and so that's what Black History Month meant to me this year, especially. It's just like, I was like, I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want because these women did amazing things in like a time period where it was not, for sure, not encouraged. Like,
Mhm.
during a time period where they weren't allowed to like read and write, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I can do anything I want because of this, all the things I'm learning during Black History Month. And they're positive things. It's not like negative or sad Black history, like which you mentioned earlier, like Tulsa and Black Wall Street, or even like the Tuskegee like syphilis experiment. These are all like
Mhm.
sad things associated with Black history, and they make me like mad and frustrated. But hearing this Black history or happy Black history, it just like, that's, yeah. That's what Black History Month meant to me this year. Just diving into happy Black history, and it was great.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that same sentiment, man. And just to talk a little bit about that aspect, a little bit of what she was talking about is that she on the Shades of Queen Instagram, she was reading a book, and I have elaborate as well. Just reading a book, um, every day of the month of February. 20, most of the days, y'all skip 20. You skip 20, and I was like, that's my birthday. And I was like,
I know my sister's birthday was February 17th, And I think that was a Wednesday, and we couldn't celebrate, and we're like, "We'll just celebrate over the weekend." And I was out with my sister, and I didn't even bring the book, and I was like, "Oh, it's okay," because not a lot of people watched when I was live, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming people like watch when I posted it,
Mhm.
but no, a lot of people watched when I was live, and so I just assumed that no one cared, and so I was like, "No one's
Mm.
I just missed this day. I didn't." I felt
it's
and then here you are noticing that I missed a specific day. Like, what is this?
because I didn't watch all of them. It's a lot of black
Okay,
women, but I'm glad
okay.
for that, man. But I was just like,
Yeah.
let me see what's in the middle. Let me see at the beginning, the end, and I was looking for my birthday, the 20th, and I was like, is he
I'm
21,
so
19?
sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. You didn't know. It's all good. I just thought that was funny.
That
So
is funny. I'm so sorry.
so the book, yeah, just reading it all the most of the days of the month, and about just the achievements and the powers of black women. One of the ones that was most interesting to me was the I forgot her name, but it was a tennis player, and how she had to go into the still had to go into the back and couldn't go into the front into the locker rooms, to change and stuff, even when she won the
She
tournaments.
was a champion, but can't come through the front door. I'm confused. I'm so confused.
And it's so
How did
sad because you can see that in like other aspects as well. You can see that with black musicians, right, when they perform at white establishments, back
Mhm.
in the segregation days. And it's just sad to see how that happened. But it's great for her achievement as well. And when she went on to play
Mhm.
golf, I was like, wow, two of the sports that
I know. I know. I know. No, yeah, I feel it. You don't have to say it. I get what you're I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I'm
But
dead.
yeah.
So yeah, if you could just talk a little bit more about that one, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna get the book. It's right next to me. We'll find her name. I got the book. Okay. We'll find her name. But yeah, there were so many stories like that where I was just like in awe of what I find her. Her name is Althea Gibson. Althea
Alfie
Gibson,
Gibson.
tennis champion. And yeah, she went off to play golf after. So there's just so many women in this book. So yeah, the book is called Little Leaders: Bold Women in Black History by Vashti Harrison. And Vashti Harrison, I actually followed her on Instagram before even knowing she made a book,
Oh.
but she's an illustrator on Instagram, and her illustrations are just so nice and cute, and she does like a whole bunch of like different illustrations. And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, she has a book." But it's great. And throughout the book, they just highlight it's in chronological order, and they just highlight different black women in black history. Yeah, some of these women, one of them was studying law, and she applied to an all male law school and just like changed her name or like used like
Hmm.
her initials or something. And I was just like, wow, reading that story, I was like, I can do whatever I want. There's like a medical, like a doctor. She applied to an all white med school and got in. I was like, I can do whatever I want after reading that. I was like, I can do whatever I want. Um, like even the one, I think, what's her name? The pilot. Bessie Coleman. She applied to like flight school like all throughout America and got rejected. And she just went to France and was like, I'm gonna get my license there then. So it's like these women literally did whatever they wanted. And I was like, I do whatever I want. So yeah, that's how I felt after reading this book, and I'm hoping other people felt the same way. But yeah, that's just a little bit about the book. There's also a men's version. Me and Kevin were talking about it earlier. There's a men's version, a black men's version. So I definitely want to get my hands on that one too.
I have to get my hands on that one, man. I got to learn about more, but black achievements of black men out here. Shoot,
Yeah.
man. Like when I was doing research earlier for, like the video that I made about Black History Month, like there's a common misconception that we thought that like George Washington Carver invented peanut butter, but he actually didn't. He just came up with different ways of applications to use it, and I was just
Oh,
like, that's interesting, because that was the one token black guy I
I know.
read in the history books.
Peanut butter. We all use peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? No, yeah. There's so many things like that too that we don't even know the full story. Like I was like when I read Rosa Parks' story, everyone knows Rosa Parks didn't get off the bus, but apparently she's been arrested for the same thing before. Like there was a moment before where she also got arrested for not following bus rules, and so. But this time they said in the book that she used her phone call to call her friends at like the NAACP, and that's when they were able to organize protests following that incident. But she's been arrested before for doing the exact same thing. So, and many other women have too. There's
Mm-hmm.
another woman that I forgot I mentioned earlier in this book who also was like, I'm gonna sit where I want to sit. Like, what's the big deal? And but we all know about Rosa Parks only. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much of Black history that we only know little bits and pieces about, even. So yeah.
Like another person, I know I didn't. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know in detail. Was
Hmm.
Fred Hampton, and when Judas and the Black Messiah came out earlier this month, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to watch it." And I watched it, and I was like, "This is crazy, yo!" I was like, "They really got this man. They really." I don't know if you've seen the movie yet, or you.
I
I mean,
haven't seen it.
uh, but it's all good, or like know the history of the stuff. But it's like when Fred Hampton, they this is what has happened in the movie, right? You gotta fact check this, verify this, right? But what happened played out is that one of the guys that was that was infiltrating the Black Panther Party, he gave Fred Hampton a sleeping pill before the police raided the house. So once they did that, man, I shot up a lot of the people in there, and then they were just easily able to just kill him like that, and it's like crazy because like he was about to go to jail for like for a while, and they
Mhm.
still just wanted to kill the man. And their excuse was when people come out of prison, it makes them more famous. And I was like,
Oh, interesting.
that's
I mean, I guess whatever makes them feel better for whatever
right,
reason.
to just kill one of the leaders of the party. And I was like, this is crazy. So it's like the more that you know, the more that you read up about it, and that you realize how much they're keeping from you, then it's like
Mhm,
that's it's
mhm.
just interesting, man. It's just
It's
interesting.
very interesting. And I feel like it's so hard to even, I don't know, like I feel like especially after this past year, we ex I'm not saying we expect, but I feel like it's also being starting to be required of more of like non-black people or like white people to even understand what we're talking about. But the thing is, like, if I really know this Black history, I know they probably know way less than I do. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like hard to even, that's not hard, but for me personally, I don't even expect much from white people because it's like they don't know how, like, there's so much I don't know. I'm assuming they know even less than I do. And so it's hard to like, even like an example is like if there's a mistrust between the government and black people,
Mhm.
how can they understand that that mistrust exists if they don't know about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, a government funded experiment where they tested on black people, like, so I think mistrust and all these issues start along, that wasn't even that long ago, but like it stems from early on. But how are white people supposed to even know that if they don't even, like we're presenting all these issues that they don't know
Mhm.
exist. So yeah, I think that's also a reason like Black History Month is not even just for black people. Like
Mhm.
black history is American history, and so everyone as Americans should make it their point to understand more of Black history and understand more of Black Americans.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, you could just see that like in like the aspects of like the mistrust of the vaccine. I mean, some people think that it's out
Hmm.
too early. Some people just
Hmm.
don't want to get vaccinated. I mean, some people there's different reasons for all these things too. But then it was something like a while back that I was reading about that it's also like in just in general with being black in healthcare, and just how they
Mhm.
treat black women that are pregnant or that are giving birth. And I was like,
Mhm.
this is just harsh. This is crazy that this is even happening, you know? Yeah.
What you were saying about, like, Black women and, like, health and stuff, that's a super scary statistic. I was looking into that too. It's super scary, and it's pretty scary. And I thought about it too, like, having children in the future, like, that's, like, an actual concern. And I'm like, like, I'm a really scared person, especially when it comes to, like, needles and anything. Like, I just got my blood drawn, like, at the beginning of February, and I was very proud of myself that I didn't scream or flinch. And I'm 22 years old, and that was like the first time I got my blood drawn without like making it a big deal. And so I'm yeah. So seeing that statistics and like people dying after giving birth or their babies dying, that is enough to deter me from doing a lot of things. So I was like, so yeah, these statistics are scary. Yeah, that's just what I thought of when you said that.
Yeah.
But these are things that people need, like
To
what we
know.
were saying earlier, like people need to know, like if you want to be a doctor, black or not, sure you're gonna have black patients. You know what I'm saying? So being aware of these issues that people have, so that when you do have like a black mother to be come to you, and you're not black, you can understand those concerns and not, it's weird when doctors look at people like they have all these worries that they don't need to worry about. You can understand that they have these worries and there are some truth behind them that can cause this worry. And if you understand that as a non-black doctor with a black mom patient, that could probably help you be better in your profession. Like this Black history is for everybody. It can literally benefit everybody.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. All right. So with that, I just want to get into a little bit about our black experience in college,
Hmm.
and how that has formed and how that has guided us, and a little bit about how that has shaped us to be the people that we are today. That's a loaded question, but you can go as detailed or as minimal as you want. But I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay. That's funny you said that because in my head I was like, I would hear it. I was like, I was assuming you were gonna go first, and I was like, I wonder what he's gonna say, and then I could gauge what I say.
Not this time.
I was literally like, wow, I wonder what he says, and he goes first. But yeah, I don't mind going first, sure. Um, my Black experience has been pretty cool. But it's there has yeah, it has its pros and its cons. We go to Cal Poly, which is a public university in Southern California, and
Yeah.
so I just feel like the experience, it's more like I don't know. I guess a lot of my experiences when it comes to being black in academics has come from IGE. And so IGE are courses you can take at Cal Poly that they're more conversation based. And so you'll learn about different things every year and you sit in a circle and you talk to your other classmates about it and how they feel. And I mean, sometimes it gets into like ethics and morals and things like that, but in those classes, that's where I experienced things that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this right now. And that really opened my eyes to how sometimes people view um, Black people. And I feel like growing up in Southern California, it's not always super obvious. People are more slick about it, like they're people who are your friends or did sports with you, and then like you spend a lot of time together and then they'll say something sideways and you're like, I don't really know how I feel right now. Like, so I guess in IGE, well, one time in IGE, there was this guy. He's a really cool guy. Like we're friends, but he was just really curious about my hair, and I had my hair in braids, and I always had my hair in braids since I was like in fifth grade. Like this is like not new for me, but then realizing that moment taught me that even though this is not new for me and it's not new for a lot of Black girls, it's new for a lot of people, and they're for some reason super interested. And he asked me like if I could wash my hair while it was in braids, or if I washed it while it was in braids and things like that. And it just like it was a genuine question, but it's also like really interesting. Like, does he think I don't wash my hair? Like, does he think I'm dirty? Like, what does this mean? You know what I'm saying? Um, but he's cool actually. But there was this other time in IGE, this guy that went to my high school. He went to my high school, and we were in IGE together. And I forgot what we were talking about, but it got to like academics basically, and Black people, Black and brown people in academics. And he was like, yeah, like Black people in general, like their culture just doesn't value education. They value sports more than education. And that's why you see like my dad is like um coach of like Cal Poly's basketball team, and that's why you see a lot of Black guys are like they're here playing sports, or they're here on academic scholarships because they value sports more than academics or something like that. And I was like, what the heck? And I was like upset, and I came home and told my mom about it, and I'm like ranting to my mom about it. But like in the moment, you don't know what to
Mm-hmm.
say. And then you go home and rant about it to your parents, and then you find the words to say it. But you can't come back to school on Monday and be like, well, to what he said 3 days ago, I have a reply. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So when you're in class, people just say these things. You don't have the words to like, you're just like sitting there like, I didn't know this guy that grew up in the same area I did felt this way about, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you're just sitting there in class and the teacher doesn't say anything and you don't say anything, and then I just like, and then you feel like, wow, this person just believes it and I didn't even say anything, and now they, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And they just ran with it.
Interesting. Yeah. But other than that, other than like that, I'm in like I go to like the center sometime. Well, often. I say sometimes. So when we were on campus, I went pretty often, and so having like a Black community on campus is cool. I also had other like Black friends who didn't come to the center, and hearing how they view the center is also super interesting, and hearing how like, you know, it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. I feel like there's so much more to say, but I kind of just want to let
Yeah.
you go, and then
Yeah. I'm in time alignment because I do best when talking about things in time periods. So I'll start with
okay,
freshman year, and coming into Cal Poly, as a Black student, I didn't necessarily. I don't know. There's something just about my own race that I didn't really realize fully until it was.
right.
This is kind of weird, but senior year of high school, I joined BSU, and that was when I
Hmm.
was really around like literally all the Black people in high school, and I was like, yo, okay, like okay, there's a lot of us here, that's chill. Okay, let's liquor, like what I'm saying, like that was cool, and I
Yeah.
we had a great advisor, Dr. Wieston Sudan, and she was just so passionate about I think I mean, she was just very vocal, and passionate, just about, a lot of, liberal ideas, but then, also being a, a Black woman, just about,
Mhm.
things of that nature and just the Black experience and, of what's happening in our community. So
Mhm.
there, I really learned a lot about, a lot of different troubles that, other people were having, that I didn't necessarily experience at that point in time. And I was just, it was very informative. I learned a lot, and then it was just, yeah, it was just amazing to hear that, because that was more like that was in the early days of of the shootings, between of Black people, not just by police officers but also by white men, right? Oh
Mhm.
well, yeah, white men. You could, George Simmons was like, no, I think he was Hispanic. Anyway, by men.
By
So
other people.
yes, okay,
By non-cop
by other
people.
races, yes. So it was just it was very interesting, to hear everybody's point of view as well, and
Mhm.
that kind of more drawed me in when I joined college now. I didn't necessarily, have a lot of black friends starting off.
Mm,
I was more focused on just, the diversity nature of college, learning about other people, learning about other people's cultures, being friends with other people of different religions, different cultures, different locations where they lived, different backgrounds, all that sort of stuff, right? So I didn't come
right.
to the center probably my first or second year, and I can count the
Mhm.
handful of black friends were on my hand. It wasn't that many, you know what I'm saying? Well,
Right, right, right.
yeah, hands and toes. There was because it's only Camp Hardy's only 3% black, 800 and something people. That's crazy out of the 25,000 that go there, And they like to post,
Right.
we're so diverse. We got a black person in our pictures. Like, that's only the smallest part of the college.
And you know what's crazy? I was one of those people that was like on the like pamphlets because I gave tours
Yeah,
and
you were on
stuff, and so they would
orientations.
do.
Yeah.
I know. So like the person on like the black person on the poster was me on some of those pamphlets, and so it's so funny when you say that.
And I ain't saying nothing against you. I'm just saying that, like,
No, no, yeah. I just think it's funny that you
oh
say
man, it was not until my junior year when I fully came to the center, and I started coming,
that.
on my days off or like in between classes, hanging out with people, meeting other people too. There was not it's open for everybody. So,
It is.
non-black people come in too, and it's just chill.
Right,
They got their friends,
right.
and it's all dope. It's an inclusive area, really. All the centers are. Right, that's what I like
Mhm.
about Cal Poly too. But you can not be affiliated whatever that center is, and just walk in and just everybody's chill. And, it gives you a good time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, I started, coming to the African American Student Center, and then I went to a few events too. And this was around, I think, 2018 too. So
Mhm.
2018, yeah, 2016, 2017, 2016. Okay, yeah, this was, well, that was junior year, but yeah, when sophomore year, I went to the Black Panther movie theater. Yeah, I
Oh,
watched it in theaters. So
yeah. That was
that was a
fun.
bad day for me, but it was cool, being there with other people. Yeah, because that was a dark time. It was the day before my birthday, and they stole everything out of my car when I in the parking lot when I was doing the movie. So
Mm. Wait, at the movie
at the
theater?
Hawkins, yeah, I was. It was a bad day. Yeah, I lost
That
like $3,000 worth of like computers, my tablet. They jacked me, man, and went through the whole
that
police
is
station and stuff. But
that is awful.
mhm, it was.
I'm so sorry
Yep.
that that happened to
it's
you.
it's okay. It happens to the best of us. It was so many years ago, but it's just sad because it happened literally the day before my birthday too. So I was just like,
I know. And now you have like such a horrible memory associated with your birthday and the Black Panther movie premiere watching thing, you know?
oh, yup, yup. But I
That,
mean, but I did love the movie though. I mean, I love the
mhm.
movie and just seeing it with other black people, and we were just all being loud and just like, oh, yo, look at that, yo, look at the show, you see.
Yeah, that was
I enjoyed it
fun.
so much, and I was like, "Yup, this is my peeps right here. This is what we talk about."
That is
And
awesome.
that whole month made so tell a little bit about into Black History Month in general, but that whole month was just so many cool events were going on. So everything was lively, and then also in 2019 for that month too, everything was great, and I was just like, "Wow, this is." I'm feeling that now. Like I feeling my culture being represented. I'm feeling my pride with everybody,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that just like continued. So went to a few more events in the center. I definitely
Mhm.
remember the day that Tosh, was leaving. And
Oh,
that I was, and we were playing Revolution by Kirk Franklin. And I was like, ah.
no, I know. Things like that is like you don't even realize that that is a part of our culture. You don't even realize that until you get around people you've never met and you realize you all know the same song and it all makes you feel the same way.
It's just and
Wow.
like and on Twitter too. There was also like this person I follow that they was just like, why do black people all do the same things? Like some black people have the same pots and pans, some black people have the same curtains, like we all have the same things, and it's just wow, that's amazing, and it's something that just with our own culture, even though we were brought over from Africa, and we were
Mhm.
all from separate tribes and separate ideals, separate religions. coming to the United
Mhm.
States, but not even just the United States, but in other parts of the world. We're all
Mhm.
very similar, and we all have that one cultural identity. So,
Yeah.
but we do have multiple identities, right? But we do have like a collective. Yeah, I'm not trying to like say that all black people are, technically the same, because no, we got Caribbean. There's so many different parts. I'm from the Caribbean, right? My parents from the Caribbean, so it's like it's different things like that.
Nice. That is beautiful.
So yeah, that's a little bit about like a little bit about that in college, and then just kind of to top off about like my black experience in the classroom. I don't
Mhm.
think I really. I guess I was fortunate enough to either not really notice it or
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
because I'm oblivious to a lot of things.
Or like
Mm,
IGE, like if I didn't take
mm,
IGE, there's not really other classes that encourage you to talk about race
mm.
relations, you know? And you're an engineer. You guys got other things to worry about. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
but I guess the one thing was probably like that I was one of the only black people in the class. Right. So I
Mhm.
mean, it didn't really affect me. It's just like, yeah, I got all these other friends, whether they might be white, Hispanic, or Asian. But it's
Mhm.
just that I'm like always when I join like the first day of class, I'm like, okay, how many, oh, what, two, oh, okay,
Oh yeah.
let's link up, bro. Like, let's do something, man. We the only two, we're the only two brothers here, man. So that was that.
Actually funny you say that. I that sometimes like I didn't realize how that affected me until that guy in like my IGE class spoke because then I just assumed that people thought that I was here on some sort of like um to fulfill some sort of quota and I
Mm,
didn't want to be looked at like I was here because I wanted to be like I wanted people to be
because you're
like I
worth.
deserve to be here. And so if I didn't know something, I did not ask a question in class. I didn't want it to be like a stupid question. I didn't want people to think I was dumb. So I would like save the question for office hours or I'll try to like figure it out at home later. I didn't want people to think I was dumb or anything. So, but now I don't care. I mean, I guess teachers like when you ask questions.
It's just that it's just sad like kind of how that came about because of that guy and what he was saying.
And he went to my school. Like it's not even like everyone assumes that people feel that think that way, live in the middle of nowhere, and have never seen a black person in their life. Like like this is like he was around black people. They were on the honor roll. They were in your AP classes. So I don't know where that thought came from, but it's not like you lived that, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
That's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, that's really it for me about that. I'm glad that you know a few years later after being in college I was able to to come and be around other black people, and
Yeah,
that really I learned a lot more, so much more about my own cultural heritage that I
yeah,
would have not known if I didn't wasn't a part of the center or didn't go there and
mhm,
think, yeah. And I was just like, wow. So
yeah. And it's so interesting too hearing how like I love the center and I love the community that it's like provided for me personally. But like I also recognize that some other black students don't feel that way about the center. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I don't like there are probably times before college where other black people made you feel like invalid in your blackness or if you didn't like,
mm-hmm,
that it's like not all black people are comfortable around a lot of black
mm-hmm,
people. You know what I'm and whatever experience they had that made them feel that way. So I feel like sometimes also in the center too people wanted like hey I want other people to feel comfortable coming in here. I don't want them to come in here and feel like they're being judged because of like how they dress or what they like or you know that was always like too like an active thing. I think that's why they had started like blurred week, like a black nerdy gamers week to like,
mm-hmm,
it's like, you're like a gamer person and you're black. Like if you're a black cosplayer, yeah, come and like enjoy this day.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, just like that was also like an active thing that the center tried to do too is like highlight a whole bunch of different
Mm-hmm.
black experiences that don't always get highlighted.
Most definitely, because I can think about too the reasons kind of why I didn't go to the center too for like the first few years.
Right.
Right, I was
Right.
just like, I don't feel necessarily that I am black enough, right? People are like, Kev,
Right.
you
Right.
be like, I mean, I ain't saying I was the whitest black person, right? When people say those statements, right, that kind of
Right.
turns heads, but people didn't necessarily say that, but it was just like I was more, I feel on the spectrum, I was more leaning on that portion, and it's like, that's just kind of like that's kind of like canceling out all of my experience and all of who
Yeah.
I am, right? But then I realized,
And it's unfortunate because sometimes other black people are what will make you feel that
mhm,
way, you know? So,
it's kind of sad because we all gotta be allies to each other. We're a
yeah, for
small,
sure.
discriminalized, marginalized group out here. So it's like we all gotta
Yeah, we can.
strength
Exactly.
in numbers. If we had the numbers, and well, we have the numbers, but also the collective organization, we can make real change, like has happened in the past few, not necessarily well, these years, but then over decades,
Mhm.
right? You can think about the
Right, for sure.
1960s, right, and literally everything that have been doing there. So it's just all of us working collectively together, and even reaching across the aisle, as Joe Biden might call it, and having other having people of other minorities, helping out too,
Yeah,
even though they might not know as much about the experience, but as us helping
right.
be allies, not the fake company woke that everybody tried to do in June, but really,
Exactly.
really trying and actively helping the community. That's the best thing that I think that we can do. um and like because I helped them out too, right, when Asians this year were getting discriminated against. Even though I mean, it was already, we were inside and online, whenever some family member said something that was definitely racist or something, I was like, nah, like, where is this coming from? That's not true at all. I would cancel it out like that, right? And when we talk about like immigrants, right, and we talk about Hispanic immigrants, like to like
Mhm.
my family members as well, I'm like, hold up, we came from the Caribbean, we were immigrants here. Why you hating on the other ones? You know what I'm saying? Just because what? You seem that the less than you? Like, no, we all
It's
came from Africa.
it's so funny that you mentioned that because I'm super into like documentaries, like in general, and so like Netflix documentaries. There's just so many that highlight different experiences, including like, you know, people dealing with immigration and things like that. And watching those really makes you realize that like there is no difference between me sitting here and someone else. Like they're like it's just crazy that we're just fortunate. But there's nothing else that there's nothing about me personally or nothing about them personally that makes them better than I am, or like we're just literally lucky to not be in the position that other people are in. And like it's just crazy the positions that people find themselves in. Like I'm literally just by luck that I'm born somewhere where I don't have to like flee my country because of all the crazy things that are happening. So yeah, it's like there's if people I don't know. I just when you mentioned that, I just thought of those documentaries where it's just like I don't know why people are, coming to the country the right way and all this other random stuff where it's just like there is nothing separating you from them, and how there is nothing about you that made you any sort of special to where you're not in this position that they are. It's crazy. People are just trying to create better lives for themselves and for their families, where they're safe and happy. Like I don't understand how anyone can be upset at I don't understand
Right, when
it.
we don't want to give immigrants rights, whether they're illegal or legal, like that makes no sense. We're all human, right? We're all here in America,
Right.
right? We technically all are Americans. I mean, so it's like it makes me kind of frustrated sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's honestly insane, and that's why I like reading this book for Black History Month, because when you think about all this stuff, it's so heavy and it makes your like heart heavy, and you make your like your chest heavy, and you're just like, there's so many like sad things happening. So it's like, let me just read this book, this really cute, lighthearted book, and be happy and spread that happiness, regarding Black people. So yeah.
Most definitely, most definitely. What I think, just coming on the last topic that I really want to really talk about, is just about intersectionality. Just a tad bit about that. And just about
Oh,
how you are, being a black woman, and how what's the best way that we can be allies to black women. First of all, oh, it's kind of I know it's kind of a loaded question, but just like your experience, living like that, and
mhm,
and just like you just talk about a little bit about that, because I know as a black man I am privileged, right? I don't have, I don't, I'm not a victim of sexism, right? I'm a victim of
mhm,
racism, but not that. But how does that
mhm.
affect you, and like how can we be allies in
Yeah, that's such an interesting question. Oh my goodness.
that?
I just feel like I don't think I think it's easy outside looking in. I don't think black men realize how people like actually listen to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, my brother is really active in his community at school. And even in high school, like a lot of people like him. He's very social, and he's like cool, and I feel like in a lot of different environments, cultures, like the black guy there is like the cool guy, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And with that like popularity and coolness, people listen to you, you know and I don't think sometimes black men realize that people listen to them. And I know it probably doesn't feel like it compared to like white men or something, but they have a voice and people listen to you. You know what I'm saying? And so just like you like I know here, I mean, at the time, like in high school, people would say this, but it feels weird to think that people say this now. But even in high school, like we'd be sitting outside after track practice, and we're sitting outside waiting for our parents to pick us up. All the sports practices would be ending, football, and you'll hear like a group of like the guys in football, black men, black boys at the time in high school, talking about how, dating preferences and them as black men. Like, oh yeah, I would never date a girl darker than me. Da, 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 da. And so when you hear black men say that, I'm sure when the non-black men who are around them hear that, they're like, well, if he said it, I don't see why, and he's black. I don't see why I can't, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think black men realize the weight of their words. Like, people listen to them, you know? And so things like that, and I don't know if that's still a thing. It probably is still a thing. But just things like that. So just like listening, I guess, to black women. Like our experiences are similar, but also like very different. And so I guess sometimes just realizing that, you know, yeah. Also just like in general, like that's like within blackness, but also in like womanhood, there's like a separation too, we learned in class that like yes, women make less than men, but black women make even significantly less than white women, so it's and Hispanic women and like apparently Asian women make more than black men, like there's all of these mix, but even during I remember we had a conversation in a Shades of Queens meeting during the when women were like marching with their pink hats and things like that, and we were asking each other like would like are we compelled or feel pulled to go to those marches versus like a Black Lives Matter march. And most of us there didn't feel that those marches, like whenever they talked about those marches, we didn't feel like they were talking to us, and it wasn't until like you pointed out, but I didn't feel super connected to, you know I don't. We were talking about blackness versus like womanhood. Like, which do we identify with more? Whereas, like, I definitely feel more pulled to go to a Black Lives Matter march versus um, anything like the march that they had in that time. And we are just diving into that and how like Sandra Bland also was a woman, but she passed away in police. custody or in police care, that wasn't like something that women were like, this is not right. That was like, I guess we've all identified that as a black
Mhm.
issue. Even though she was a black woman, that was like a black issue that Black Lives Matter had to deal with. You
Mhm.
know, it wasn't like, you
Yeah.
know? So it's a very interesting, like when those Venn diagram circles, it's just a very interesting little overlap there, being a black woman. But I love it. I mean, it just, it's just been how I live. And I'm fine. But yeah, I guess just I don't know, just like listening to Black women, valuing our opinion. I feel like our experiences make our. I think all of us have valuable things to say, but I feel like sometimes our unique experience encourages like us to look outside of, like, we're forced to think about things that other people may not think about, like even in clothes, like what you wear as a black woman, like leggings, for example. Like at school, a white girl can wear a certain pair of leggings, but a black girl wears these leggings and you're dress coded.
Mhm.
Like these experience form. Now you're a grown woman and now you have to be hyper aware of what you wear and how you look like when you wear it and what message that gives off.
Mhm.
These are things that not everyone may have to consider when getting dressed in the morning. And that's just a little example, but things like that, I think, make our experience super unique and allow us to provide opinions that others may not have had to think about. I think that could be super helpful in different circles. So I guess just listening to Black women is a good way to be an ally, I guess.
Most definitely. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yes, yes.
I know it was a lot, but yeah, that's definitely something that I have been challenged about personally, and that's something that
Mhm.
I have to more so work on, because I mean we're all working, we're all growing, but that's something that I have to
Yeah.
value as well. On my ongoing journey of discovering my own blackness and taking pride in my own blackness. There's something interesting that you said, and that was about like Sandra Bland, and if it were,
Hmm.
because it is it was more focused as a black issue. You know, I think
Right.
about, I don't know if you remember this, but the Red Shoe protest at
Yeah,
school.
at Cal Poly.
Yes, and how differently if it would have went if it was a black woman instead of a black male, or if it would have been very similar. It's like you think about,
Question.
yeah, you think about that, and it's like, would you see people from Woman X, sorry, Woman X Resource Center come out too as well, like, or would it just be the
Yeah.
African American Center, like, so it's different. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's different things to think
Yeah.
about because of that. And then black males, I think I can see that. I can see that because people take a lot of things from black culture in general too.
Right.
Black music, black
Right.
styles, black
Right.
hairstyles. Shoot, I got these dreads right now. But it's like and then you see people from other cultures doing those things. Not necessarily to say that that specifically is a black thing, but it's more
Right.
associated with black people, black individuals.
Right. Right.
So yeah, if as me being a black male, realizing the power that we have, even though it might
Right.
not be as much as what the white male have, could be
Mm.
used to support black women as well. So yeah, that's basically my 2 cents on that topic. I personally think that's most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, really.
Okay.
There is a lot more that we can talk about in depth,
So,
but I would
yeah.
definitely save that for a future podcast.
Okay. I
So
was thinking like maybe it could be like a subsection, like another topic, you
another
know?
series, regarding that, then we talk about the prison system, and then the prison industrial complex, and so many things about that one. But yeah.
Or you can talk about, recently I've been thinking about, like, I saw this one thing on Instagram. It was like a series of Twitter posts and they were like, name what's something that you think that is an unpopular opinion in the Black community. And I don't think this is an unpopular opinion, but someone who was like, what is this cookout, this theoretical, this not real cookout we're inviting people to? And what does that mean? You know? And I thought about that too. Like, some people, some people feel different about it. That's like a whole other thing too, you know?
Yeah, that's a great one. I don't have an opinion on
Yeah.
it right now, so I probably got to form that first before.
That's okay. That's totally okay.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you for being on a podcast today. I appreciated your input. I appreciated you sharing your experiences and your ideas. Um, where can people reach you? Where can people find you if they want to hear more things about
Oh.
you?
I mean, I have a Twitter account. Don't really go on it, but my name on Instagram is Jaylen Michelle, Jaylen_Michelle. I am private, but you know what? I accept a lot of people, so it's okay. I mean, but if
Send
any
the
of that
DM
changes,
first and then see what they're about, and then
right? Put something in your caption or in your bio where, like, if you're Cal Poly, I'll probably accept you. If we got mutuals, probably accept you. Um, so yeah, maybe if you follow Kevin and he's your mutual, So yeah, that's where you can find me if you want.
Most definitely.
Oh, and Shades of Queens, Shades of Queens CPP. So
Most
if you want to follow Shades of Queens.
definitely do that, y'all. I learned a lot this whole past month on that. So I hope it's a continuing series, with the next executive council. So y'all probably having, elections meetings soon. So that's going to be exciting.
Yes, yeah.
So if you guys are interested in further podcast, further episodes with the podcast, just go ahead into YouTube channel, youtube.com/91btv. There's a subsection or a playlist that says It's Corona Time with Kevin Jackson. We got all the videos there. You can follow us or listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, literally any one of those platforms, for podcast, things of that nature. And it used to be every Tuesday and Friday during quarantine. Now we're kind of phasing that out because vaccines. So catch us every month. Just to be subscribed or follow us and you'll know. And yeah, thanks guys for listening and for watching. And y'all have a great rest of your day.